Wait,
Can't
can
do
you?
that. Can't do that. My wrists don't bend like that, and my index finger is still broken.
You broke your index finger.
Yeah,
since
remember
when?
at grass clippings?
You broke it?
Yeah, dude, I fucked my finger up.
Are you
remember
serious?
when I?
No, I don't. I didn't know you broke it. Did you have to get X-rays and shit?
No, I just know it.
I mean, I don't know. If you could self-diagnose yourself like that, I mean, I'm being kind of impressed.
Just like, yeah, I broke it. It's still swollen to this day.
Damn.
Yeah, you remember I was running and tried to catch my hat, and my hand was fucked. No,
I don't remember.
Well, anyways, I still can't like fully close my. That's as far as I can close it, right there.
Damn. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
My name is Alex.
My name is Jack.
And yeah, we're in episode 22, I think. 22.
Yep.
Yeah, we've been grinding. It's almost been like 6 months. Yeah, we've been. I think we've been consistent every week. Even if I skipped a week, I would try to like make it up and do like two. That's why I did two last week. Yeah, do double. So I've been trying to keep it pretty consistent. Before we want to get into what we want to talk about, something happened in the world of football. For the past like couple weeks, this dude named Micah Parsons was complaining about how his owner / GM, this dude named Jerry Jones, is just like the worst, and he just wanted to get out of that situation as soon as possible. And what is it, like literally 1 week before the season starts, breaking news from Adam Scheffler. Is that his name?
Adam Schefter.
Adam Schefter, Scotty Schefter's brother.
No, that's Scheffler.
I know, I'm just making a joke. He just announced that Micah Parsons was traded to the Green Bay Packers. I didn't see what he was traded for.
He was traded for a 2026, 2027 first-round pick in Pro Bowl defensive back Kenny Clark.
Is Kenny Clark okay? Okay. So it's not like he came in empty-handed. They did get a little bit of value for him. He also
should have just went for all the picks.
I think Green Bay wouldn't accept it. I think it would have kept the situation like standing longer before. I think they just wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible.
Well, I feel bad for Dallas.
Why?
All of Dallas. Well, they lost Luka Doncic and
not
Micah
out of their
Parsons.
control. Like Luka Doncic. Oh, you're talking about the Dallas fans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is quite the interesting 2025. Yeah, this all happened in the same year, by the way. 2025. Yeah, it's just interesting that Dallas had such a great core with. They had such a offense, like even like Ezekiel Elliott like kind of slowed down. Like there was a period of time where him, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott were at a peak of their powers. They still had Zach Martin. Do they still have Zach Martin? I think he's still on the team, right? I have to double check. But they had Trayvon Diggs, and then Micah Parsons was just like a kid, but still like was really good. Like basically his rookie year.
Yeah, would they go 13 and something?
So they had a consistent like great like run. They were the kings of the NFC East for a while. Like they really didn't have much competition. Like Eagles were kind of figuring it out.
But I think that was perennial.
They were perennial, and even like their transition from like the Tony Romo, Des Bryant to like Dak Prescott. Like I don't know, as a franchise, I think it's kind of impressive that you're able to switch cores and maintain this level of like consistency and winning. However, they never got it done in the Super Bowl, which really is all that matters. I mean, it's kind of crazy. In sports, if you don't win the championship, you're a failure, right? Even if you have a winning champion. Like, if you're a winning team and your team's consistently doing well, then the expectations are higher. And if you don't win, then you failed. Like that.
Yeah, but a lot of owners run the franchises to be profitable. At least a lot in baseball do. Like they don't like overspend to make sure they win championships. They're trying to run a business.
That is true.
Whereas not everyone has the luxury of being able to go for championships.
Mm-hmm. And
because of the popularity of their team.
Is Jerry Jones the only? I think I looked this up before, but is he the only football coach owner to be the GM as well?
No, It's definitely happened before.
But currently in the league, I'm pretty sure he's the only one.
Yeah.
Which I think that's too dangerous because it makes him way too powerful. It gives him decisions that, you know, he got he got a little lucky in the 90s. He picked up what's his name? Troy Aikman. He got Emmitt Smith. He got Michael Irvin. He had this.
Well, you know how he got them, right?
How?
The Herschel Walker trade.
Really?
Yeah.
Herschel?
So, you know Herschel Walker?
Yeah, he's like I forgot what position, but he's like one. Is he a running back?
He was a running back.
I didn't know he was a running back.
Yeah.
I thought he was a defensive guy. I might be thinking of a different one. But
amazing
anyway.
for Dallas, and they traded him for the Vikings, and they got like 5 first-round picks or something stupid, like a haul. And that's how all those picks they used to build that Super Bowl caliber team.
Wow. Yeah.
And so people were theorizing they were going to ship away Micah Parsons, and this is going to be the Herschel Walker 2.0. But like, who knows? Like, they didn't get all the picks though. They would need to do that.
That's interesting. Yeah. So they got a little bit lucky there. I mean, like getting the greatest running back of all time, getting a top. Well, I don't know.
He's not the greatest running back of all time.
If people ask me who the greatest running back of all time is, I'm usually probably going to say Emmitt Smith.
Oh, you're saying Emmitt Smith. I thought you were saying Herschel Walker was the greatest.
I mean, statistically, he I'm pretty sure he's up there. Like he's in the conversation of like maybe like top 20.
Emmitt Smith is not Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker's really good though. Like
he was good, but he kind of fell to shit once he went to Minnesota.
Oh wow, okay, but
yeah, it's considered one of the worst trades in all of sports.
Even worse than the Luka trade.
Well, the Luka trade might supersede it because forever that was considered the worst trade of all time.
Interesting, yeah, because that gave him three Super Bowl rings. Yeah.
Where, hey, maybe this is the worst trade of all time for the Lakers. We still don't know. How many picks did they get?
They didn't get a lot of picks.
Oh,
I think they literally just got Luka and I think Maxi Kleber.
Well, no, did Dallas get picks?
Yeah, I think so. Like one or two picks. But those picks aren't going to do well because I do believe that we're going to see. I think I made this prediction with my brother, and we both agreed that Lakers are going to. We predict that Lakers are going to get the number 1 seed, and Luka is going to win the MVP next year. But that might be a little far fetched. I've been saying Luka was going to win the MVP in the past like 4 years, and I've been wrong every time.
Yeah, because there's more premium talent.
There isn't though. Like Luka's, he's in shape. Are you seeing him in Europe?
Jokic and SGA have been clearing him in stats the last few years.
Don't do this to me, man. No, we're not doing this. Luka's the best player in the NBA. I don't care. I know Jokic is the best player in the NBA, but in my heart, it's Luka.
Okay.
And Luka can be the most overweight, out of shape motherfucker and still drop 30, 10, and 10. The fact that he's in shape and right now he's killing it in Europe, which I don't know if that really matters to you, but Luka's going to be fine. Luka's going to be fine. I think he's going to average 30, 10, and 10. It's about the efficiency. It's about the winning. But I do believe it's going to be a 30, 10, and 10 season. He's going to average a triple-double at some point. It could be now. It could be the next year. Who knows? Luka should be the best player in the league.
Wait, I want to go back to that Europe thing. Do the best players in America,
no,
when they grow up, do they want to go over to Europe to play basketball?
No.
Do Europeans, when they grow up, want to come over to America and play in the NBA?
But I think
I
think you're discrediting that.
So
there is a lot of talent.
Beating up on a bunch of guys that are a bunch of wannabes.
That's
what you're telling me.
I don't think the talent is that different because I think you're discrediting the talent of the European leagues. I think that they're not bad. It's the second most competitive league in the world. Obviously, there's a difference between that and the NBA. And he was doing this in the NBA. He's been doing this for the past 5 years. 30, 10, and 10. Fucking cooking fuckers. Like, come on, man.
But is that winning basketball?
It was. I mean, as soon as they traded, like they were a fringe play-in team before the Luka trade. Once they traded for Luka, they made it to the 3 seed. Granted, they got fucked up in the playoffs, but they didn't have a center. So now they actually have a center. When DeAndre Ayton plays with a competent point guard, he has really good years. Like his years with Chris Paul are undeniably like really good. Like so, him with Luka thrives with those lob threats, and him having that probably the most disgusting pick and roll game in the history of NBA. That might be a hot take because we got Steve Nash and we got John Stockton to also let's say that. But
yeah, I don't know.
His pick and roll game is just I love watching it. I could watch his pick and roll game forever.
And also, like along the lines of, I just like I don't see Luka being the recipe for the winning basketball. Because, like, Jalen Brunson seems like the common denominator there. He went from the finals in Dallas.
He wasn't on the team. It was Kyrie, remember?
Oh.
He made it to
the Western Conference Finals with Brunson.
Oh, where they kicked the shit out of the Suns by 40 points?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, I don't want to talk about it either. But you're the one that brought up that year. So, I mean,
yeah.
That's the only thing they'll be remembered for. And, yeah, I think that's why you have a little bit of hate for Luka because of that.
I think they lucked into the finals a little bit because they got trounced once they got to the finals.
I don't know. OKC in every metric was a better team than them, and they cooked them. Like, Luka cooked that team, bro. And then against Minnesota, like, Minnesota was a better team than Dallas. And they were – I don't know. I think Luka was just Superman that series. And I don't know. Luka, to me, should be the best player of the decade. He just hasn't yet because of his injuries and I don't know. He just didn't have the talent around him compared to what SGA has and what Jokic had. I mean, Jokic with a guy like Aaron Gordon, like, and a guy like Jamal Murray being his like second-hand guy. I mean, that helps a little bit. Like, it doesn't not like having those role players. That's why he won that ring. That's why SGA won that ring. Chet Holmgren is not even like in his prime yet, and he's still one of the best rim protectors in the league. You have a guy like J-Dub, who's a great two-way player and can score the ball if they're double teaming Shea, and then you have like Caruso is a great like glue guy. You have like Isaiah Hartenstein was killing in the playoffs. Like, I don't know, man. That's just such a good team. And what I think that's not that championship, and this is gonna sound like Hayden. That championship was not a credit to SGA. It's more of a credit to how Sam Presti was able to flip.
I was literally just about to say this. I was literally about to say, yeah, or is it like that Paul George equals all those players?
Yes.
Like that
but Paul George was flipped for Domantas Sabonis and Victor Oladipo. Those guys were flipped for Serge Ibaka. So it started out with the Serge Ibaka trade, and the reason why they traded Serge Ibaka is because they wanted to build around KD and Westbrook, but KD ended up leaving for Golden State. So that trade ended up being worthless because the fit just didn't work with I don't know, but I don't know, the fact that even his fuck ups work, like they ended up working out. Like, I don't know, Sam Presti is the greatest GM in basketball, and it's not even close. Like I like Danny Ainge was great. Mitch Kupchak back in the Lakers was killing it with his trades. Jerry West, obviously you can't forget about Jerry West, but Sam motherfucking Presti, holy shit, his moves are ridiculous. Like, but sorry, we were talking about Micah Parsons, and we were talking about that trade. How do you think this affects both teams?
I think Dallas's offense is going to be on the field a lot
more. Yeah, definitely.
Well, not for the good reasons.
Do you think this is a time to try? Do you think we should pick up CeeDee Lamb more than ever because he's going to be on the field more? Do you think Dak Prescott could be kind of a sleeper QB?
I do. I think they're going to have a top 10 offense.
And a top 33 defense. Like, they're so bad they don't even make
33.
I'm just joking. But we were already saying that Green Bay was going to be a wild card team. Do you think this changes them to being the best team in the NFC North?
No. I think everyone's just like that whole division is just so insane.
It's so stacked. It's so stacked.
Like, Oh, the Lions, they still have all the players, just big coaching question marks. And that'll probably take a year to iron out.
Well, honestly, it'll probably take the first game for people to realize they're fine.
Well, they're still gonna be a good team, but I don't think they're gonna be
as good as they were
Super Bowl caliber,
like last year.
Like I would have to. I want to Google this now. Like, how many teams have had two brand new quarterbacks? Coordinators, and gone on to win a Super Bowl? Has that ever happened?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't done my research that much. But
deep. It sounds like something that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen very often. Because getting a new coordinator, that changes your offense quite a bit. Having someone to make play-by-play calls like that, like Ben Johnson was such a factor in why their offense was so tricky for defenders to figure out, because he always had some crazy shit up his sleeve. And personnel is going to be a big change. And I don't know if this is true for football, but I see this in basketball where I think coaching is more important for defense than personnel. I think you could have not the best defensive players, but if you have a great coach who could come up with a great defensive team, you could still be a top defense. Do you think that's true, or you think you need the personnel to be a good defensive team? Because I'm trying to think, Green Bay was already a really good defensive team, were they not?
Yeah, they were okay. They weren't ridiculous. They weren't top 10 or top.
So you think a defensive player can really change?
He's a game wrecker. He's what they call the game wreckers.
Because he's the best defensive player in the NFC, unless you got a guy like Dexter Lawrence maybe.
Sexy Dexy's up there for sure.
I didn't know that was his name.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He likes to twerk and dance.
Oh God.
That's why they call him Sexy Dexy, because he does twerks.
You see what I mean? That's one of the best. That's probably the best defensive player in the league in the NFC. But his fucking team is god awful.
Who knows?
What, is Scadaboo gonna have the craziest rookie year?
No, I think they might be a little bit better than people think this year.
They're going to be the worst team in. Oh, we'll see about Dallas. But them and Dallas are going to fight for the worst team. And
I think the whole division is pretty good.
I think it's Eagles, and then a little, maybe 2 steps, because we saw in the NFC Championship, Eagles stomped on the Commanders, bro.
Yeah, but the Rams were close with the Eagles.
Yeah, but Rams had championship DNA, and they have, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in the league, Sean McVay.
Yeah. And how is he still the youngest coach in the NFL?
Isn't Kyle Shanahan also there?
No. I think he's
I think Sirianni's up there too. He's pretty young too.
But it just blows my mind that Sean McVay is the youngest, and all his proteges are older than him.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Yeah, but there's a reason why Sean McVay has that job. He's clearly a genius when it comes to football. So you gotta give him his credit. Yeah, I think this does change a lot, because I really think people thought Dallas would do pretty well. I think people thought they were going to be winning, because if you have Dak Prescott, he's a good enough quarterback to win you games, in my opinion, I think. And you have one of the best receivers. It's just the Jerry Jones management is kind of fucking everything up. I think it's fucking up what Micah Parsons did. And I think this does make Green Bay better than the Vikings, but not better than the Lions. But that's just my opinion.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough to say, but
because I think Jordan Love is better than J.J. McCarthy. Josh Jacobs is better than. The only thing they got is a receiving core. But if you don't got a great quarterback, your receiving core is just. Well, do you think J.J. Do really people think J.J. McCarthy is gonna be that good?
I think Justin Jefferson is a good enough wide receiver that he makes quarterbacks better. He's that good at that position. I seriously I really got convinced when I watched him watched film of him at a camp of it was either high schoolers going to college or college students. Mm-hmm. And he was just the way he can dissect the game and knows the game of football is just yeah.
Not a lot of people in the league can do that.
No. Okay. And he has the physical acumen to do it.
Yeah.
Not only does he have the brain and the wherewithal to do it, but also just to be an absolute physical specimen to moss people, do like miraculous catches too. Like he has the physical, like he's just incredible, and that's why he like people give credit to KOC for, oh, he's the quarterback whisperer. Every quarterback does well there. It's because they're throwing the goddamn ball to Justin Jefferson. Like, I feel like no one has been like making this point that, oh, KOC is the quarterback, which I'm sure is a good part of it.
I think
like
they definitely help each other out.
Like, I think throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson helps a lot more than people like.
If you throw the ball to me, I'm gonna catch the ball, basically.
Yeah.
And if you're double teaming me, you got a pretty good receiver in Jordan Addison that could catch the ball too.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and
I think
Hawkinson,
yeah,
can catch the ball. And now they have Adam Thielen.
Yeah, oh my God, I forgot to talk about that. Yeah, dude, that's a beautiful, because you know Adam Thielen's story, right? Didn't walk on. He tried out for the
tryout for a tryout.
Yeah. And then like undrafted, like, you know,
Minnesota guy.
No one took, from Minnesota, kind of like the Invincible story. Like no one took him seriously, and then he just casually just caught 1,000 yards, like for, I don't know, for several seasons, or just I don't know how long, but like that was also with who was the other receiver on that team? Stephon Diggs. Yeah, that duo was crazy, man. And yeah, no, Adam Thielen, him coming back, I think it can rejuvenate the franchise. I think he has a lot of like emotional attachment to the team, because that was the team that gave him a chance. That was the team where he thrived the most. Grew up because
a fan of.
Yeah. Every other team he played, I mean, he was okay.
He only played for the
Carolina.
Panthers.
Yeah, he was okay in Carolina. He was okay in Carolina.
He was the wide receiver one.
Yeah, but for a trash team. Like,
yeah, he was carrying that.
He was carrying that team, yeah. And then even last year, like, he was okay. Like, didn't like have any shocking numbers. But I don't know. I don't know if him skill-wise can, like, I don't know if he's there yet. Still, maybe. He is a little older, but I think him...
To be a number 2, though? Great number 2.
No, he's number 3, dude.
Yeah, but I think Addison's...
You think he's going to step down to be 3?
No, I'm saying he's suspended for the first 4 games or whatever.
What did he do? What the fuck?
You didn't... I think it was either speeding or drunk driving or something.
Yeah, your classic NFL arrest.
What's with the wide receivers? It's always speeding.
Yeah, what was Rashid Rice? 6 games? Do you see that?
Yeah.
6 games suspension. So you got? Did he bench him?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
But I'm kind of glad it's in the first 6, then instead of playing 4 and then suspending 6.
Have they done that before?
Well, that's what they were gonna do. He was gonna have a hearing on the September 30th or whatever, which would have been like 4 games into the season already.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Travis Kelce? Do you think he's gonna have a career year because he got engaged?
That's a big question mark. It's either gonna go one of 2 ways.
I think Kansas City has a lot to prove this year. I think people kind of wrote him off, and I don't know about you. I know there's a lot of Pat Mahomes haters out there, but he's the second greatest quarterback in my eyes, and he could be the greatest if he wins a couple more rings. But he has all the attributes to be the greatest. He just doesn't have enough as much as Brady. But I think he's the type of talent where, like, if he's doubted, he's gonna try to prove people wrong, like kind of like a Michael Jordan type. I think he has that kind of mindset, and I do expect him to be an MVP candidate this year. But we'll see. Maybe this is the end, because Dallas only had 3 rings and then never won again. I think that was the only other team was the Patriots. I mean, Patriots between their two they had their first run and their second run, like the Dion branch, like their first, like in the 2000s, and then their Rob Gronkowski run, and there was like a 10-year gap between those 2 rings or something like that. So maybe something similar could happen where he just was a perennial great team, just never got over the hump and then win again. But that's rare. I mean, Brady can. I mean, that's Brady, dude. That's why Brady's the GOAT. So we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting. I think we're gonna film this we're gonna film our draft for our group live. I think that's a great idea. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And it'll be me and you kind of sitting here like talking about football. Oh, dude, honestly, I'm actually
There'll be some background noise.
Yeah, I think that'll be so fun.
You'll have to suffer through. But.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we'll see what happens. Okay. All right. So that's enough football talk. Let's switch it over. we're gonna try to review more albums. I think reviewing more albums, getting we have a laundry list of albums of what we want to talk about. I think now we're gonna pick albums we're more familiar with, and then we could try to throw in albums that we're not like so much we don't know too well. It's just easier to talk about albums that we know. So the album we want to talk about today is David Bowie. David Bowie's The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spider of Mars. That's isn't that that's the full title of the album?
You butchered a couple words.
What's the full title?
The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
Okay, you're right. I did butcher it. But it's commonly referred to as Ziggy Stardust.
Yes.
This album came out in 1972, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because, I want to hear first your thoughts of the album. Like what was your like?
Well, I kind of want to start with the background, kind of give some context of where David Bowie was,
in his career.
Yeah, where he was in his career when the album came out, because like after he started his promotional tour in America, February '71.
Because he had this is right before, because Hunky Dory came out.
Yeah, it was
Hunky Dory was his
breakout.
Well, not technically, because he had Space Oddity, and that was sort of his commercial breakthrough. Because his first album like flopped, did not do well.
Huge success
and
when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sold well after he blew up.
I think, and then Ziggy Stardust like put him like in a different. But anyway, go ahead.
He recorded Hunky Dory in the middle of '71 at Trident Students in London. The sessions featured musicians who would later become known as the Spiders from Mars. Guitarist Mick Ronson, the bassist Trevor Bolder, and the drummer Mick Woodmanson. Woodmansey? I don't know. Mm-hmm. According to Mancy, Hunky Dory and Ziggy Stardust were almost recorded back to back, but in the Spiders realized that most of the songs on Hunky Dory were not suitable for live material, so they needed a follow-up album with material they could use live. So they made this album in hopes of playing these songs live, because Hunky Dory, it's more artsy, fartsy, not very.
That's the one with Changes. I think that's the one with Changes. That's the only song
that's the only one you could play live. The rest, like, there's what I'm trying to remember the track
I've never heard the album, so
there's a lot of just really not avant-garde, but here, where's the track list? Excuse me, sir. Changes, Oh You Pretty Thing, 8-line poem.
Was Queen Bitch on this album too?
Yeah, Queen Bitch.
Okay.
Andy Warhol, Song for Bob Dylan. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I totally see what this paragraph was saying about, like, they needed songs to play on a tour, because Hunky Dory, it
wasn't like that.
Well, like Changes kind of is,
mm-hmm.
which I disagree with him there, but but my opinion on the album is, like, it is very, like, easy listening to. It kind of, like, call me fucking, maybe just because we just listened to it, but it does give me, like, the Dire Straits kind of vibe.
You get Dire Straits? Well, it predates Dire Straits.
Yes.
I get Beatles, but
it's
like
very,
he sounds like John Lennon, dude.
Little bit.
Like the nasal, the nasal singing. I hear John Lennon.
But it's just so, like, easy listening to too. Maybe that I'm just, like, kind of just mixing that too.
No, you're together. Right. It is very easy listening. Which is crazy because it's a concept album. And concept albums are usually, like, the type of albums where you gotta, like, really look into it and look at the meaning behind it. Like, that's kind of the reputation you get for concept albums. And sometimes it really is just putting on a costume, because this album is essentially just his alter ego, Ziggy Stardust. He plays a character, but it's like, still he has a lot of himself. It's kind of like Slim Shady, where, like, Slim Shady is technically a character, but it's Eminem. Like, it's Eminem. Like, it's like a side of Eminem, like him being very shocking. This is like the side of him, like, wanting to be like that sci-fi inspired, like, spacey type. Which, that's my only problem. I don't get a space vibe from this album. I get a space vibe from when I listen to, like, Space Oddity. Like, that's a very spacey sound. But
yeah, but he's he's an alien on Earth.
You got a point. Yeah, honestly, I didn't think of that because, yeah, it is an alien coming down to Earth trying to play Earth-type music.
Yeah.
And what was the music that Earth were listening to? Sgt. Pepper. Not rock, the Beatles. Like, this album really gives me a strong Beatles vibe. Like, I'm talking about that, like, Sgt. Pepper. Because how is this not, like, the idea of, like, putting on, like, a costume and, like, playing characters, alter ego? How is that not, like, a Sgt. Pepper? Like, there's a connection there. Like, he's British, you know, Britpop, like, you know, kind of like poppier type rock music. Very simple songs. Like simple but amazing songs. I don't think there's a skip on this album. I think every song is excellent. I can't think of a weak song on this album. Maybe Star, but Star is amazing too.
Yeah.
But like 5 years is, I mean, I could go down a list. Like 5 years, I've been playing that shit on repeat.
That's so good.
So good. Like the slow intro in the beginning, like 5 years. And that song is supposed to be the representation of 5 years. The world's going to be destroyed. And then like Ziggy Stardust is supposed to come down and be the savior of the world, I think. And then he becomes this super popular, you know, goes through a lot of like trials and tribulations, and then like ultimately gets destroyed by his own ego. It's a very vague concept. Honestly, you could listen to the album without knowing that it is a concept album and still like,
that's how easy listening it is.
Yeah. I mean, you hear lines like Ziggy play guitar. I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, making good.
But like the avant-garde listening, I mean, that's David Bowie. Like David Bowie is gonna have avant-garde like lyrics that like, okay, that could either mean a lot or mean nothing. But and I like that David Bowie is not a strong singer, but he's a very compelling singer.
That's also maybe why I also pull the Dire Straits feeling in my head too, is because like it's not about the vocals. I mean, like, yeah, it's about
the vibe, the soul, the soul behind it, and yeah, I hear Beatles. I think the production's excellent. It just sounds beautiful, very tight sounding, very tight 12-song list. What would you say is your favorite track on the album?
Well, Starman obviously is up there.
Yeah.
Ziggy Stardust.
It's funny you mentioned Starman. There's a Starman. That's supposed to be kind of an interpolation. Somewhere over the rainbow.
Really?
I mean, that's what I read on when I was doing my research.
Never knew that.
Yeah. So when you hear it again, it does sound like Star. But yeah, that was the song I was listening to all the time back then. Ziggy Stardust was the big one, and then Moon Age's Daydream was featured on Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's on. I think that found a new audience once that song hit that album. But that's also one of my favorites, Moon Age Daydream. And then you got a song like Hang On to Yourself. Like, how that song's so punky. I don't know. I hear like such a heavy punk vibe from that song. Even like Suffragette City, like very energy,
super punky,
high energy, like very. I don't know. I just
Suffragette City.
I love that song, man. I love. And I don't know. He was kind of like one of the first to, because I don't think.
Well, Mick Jagger kind of did some of that vibe a little bit.
You're talking about like the glam rock.
Well,
like,
I'm saying that like kind of cadence, that punky kind of.
Yeah. I see a lot of Stones influence here. Yeah, from those type of songs. Like, I guess like when I hear like
get more maybe I do get a little more Stones than Beatles vibes from. Maybe he's just a blend of the two.
Yeah, he's kind of like the blend of like the greatest like 60s, British artists 70s. Of the 60s and kind of like into this new refreshing, because he's influential in his own. Like he was kind of like a pop star, like, you know, very. That's why he fits so well in the 80s, because I think being the one of the four, like he's one of the like first big glam rock kind of like started like the him image. And Elton John, yeah, but Elton John wasn't doing it until later in his career, right? Like
his whole career was glam rock, bro.
You think so?
I think we just invented. It's just like he kind of invented it. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean him being like this like flamboyant type, you know, androgynous. I think that's kind of like a groundbreaking, because that went on to being super popular in the 80s with George Michael, even like a Boy George and Prince and all these like artists that are like, you know, it doesn't matter like what gender you are, you could dress however you want. It kind of gave that like artistic expression, and it made artists more free to be themselves in a way. And I thought he was kind of like one of the first to really like make a mark and do that. So that's where I get
like Lil Nas X.
Very much like Lil Nas X.
Well, you saw him dancing in the street, right?
I honestly, after Old Town Road, I don't listen to Lil Nas X. I think Old Town Road is great, but yeah, yeah. So that's that. Anything else you want to add to the album? Because I think that's all I want to say. I just want to say, like, I hear a lot of Beatles, and more than you mention it, I hear a lot of Stones. But he's one of those artists, and I think there's a pattern of all great artists is they respect and take influence of the greats before them, and tweaks it enough to make it their own and make it something refreshing and new. So that's why David Bowie is held in such a high regard as one of the greatest artists, one of the musical geniuses of all time. And it's just crazy. This came out in the early 70s, and it doesn't sound a day old. I think this sounds fucking timeless.
It does sound
I think I could hear... I don't know. I could hear this being in the 80s and still, like, sound well. This released in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Like if this is a 2010s, 2020s album, it will probably be, like, an independent album. It wouldn't be, like, a popular album. But still, I could hear someone releasing something like this today. So that's what... And I think it's kind of transitioning into what I want to talk about. But before I talk about that, let's do a draft of the album, if you're cool with that.
Let's do it.
Let's draft songs from the Ziggy Stardust album. The full title: The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So I'll let you have the first pick.
Give me Starman.
So Starman?
Yeah.
All right. I will take Moon Age's Daydream.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Suffragette City. Suffragette City.
I'll take Ziggy Stardust.
Damn. Nice. Give me 5 years.
I'll take Lady Stardust.
Cool. Give me Rock and Roll Suicide.
What a closer, man. What a fucking closer. That's such a good song. Like, every song, there's no misses, man. Like, oh, God. What's my favorite song after this, though? Hang On to Yourself.
Cool. Give me Soul Love.
That's such a good one, too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me
what other songs are we missing?
You got two left. You got Star, and you got It Ain't Easy.
It Ain't Easy. Oh, that's a good one. I'll take It Ain't Easy. So we're leaving out Star, and I did say that was probably the weakest.
Well, that's
song
the only song not written by David Bowie.
Oh,
on the album.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was written by Ron Davies.
Wow.
It's at the top of the track listings. Look, it's just one line.
Wow, that's great. Well, I drafted it.
Yeah, way to draft the only one not written by Bowie there. No, I'm kidding,
so that's So I want to transition to this. So David Bowie, this album is so timeless. But I think his persona, his character, or not ironic, his character, his celebrity, his persona fits well in what the 80s ended up being, which is why he had a song like Let's Dance that blew up. He was under pressure with but we both agree that his 80s stuff is not as good as his 70s.
Well, like Let's Dance is a great song. It's a bit overplayed, but it's a great song.
Now Rogers.
Now Rogers.
Yeah. And he's one of the many artists that were critically acclaimed in the 70s and had a transition over to the 80s and learn how to adapt to the 80s. And I just want to say, just full front, I think the 80s is very overrated.
Yeah.
And I think the 80s might be, I think it's the most profitable era, where I think artists made the most money at the time and sold the most records, because it was like right when the MTV came out, the Walkman was just released, so people were listening to their music portably. CDs were just released, I think, during the 80s. And yeah,
I don't know if CDs were out yet.
Like mid 80s, I think CDs were
they?
I don't know if they were like the popular medium. I think people were using cassettes.
I think 90s was more DVD, maybe late 80s.
Yeah, like yeah. No, I think
cassettes were still a thing.
Yeah,
I think
cassettes.
a bit huge in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. So I think the 80s, from the industry standpoint, might be the most profitable era, but I just think it became more style over substance. MTV became so prominent, and I think when you view music in the 80s, you kind of have to like see it in a different light, because you can't just take it the music, because if you take the music, that's half the story. You need the music video to go along with it, because the music video does make a lot of these songs, does it not? Do you do you think Thriller would be as good without the music videos?
Like, yeah, but did that I don't know. Like, did that many people at the time watch the music videos?
Yes,
Yeah,
dude. MTV? Like, they literally call it the MTV era. Do you know how much money people put, like, a lot of these artists put into their music videos? Like, I can't give you a set amount, but, like, Michael Jackson had these, like, massive,
elaborate,
like,
yeah. I've seen music them all.
Yeah, and then, like, yeah, like, every artist, like, the hair metal scene, like, I don't know, Whitney had a lot of big music videos. Obviously, this went into the 90s and 2000s, but I'm saying, like, I think that the 80s was the start of where it became more, where the music video became such a massive part, where it kind of took away from the music, which is why me and you both agree that the 70s was the last great, and I think is the greatest decade in music. But in the 80s, there was just this specific sound. I don't know if it started with new wave. Well, first off, they loved the synths in the 80s. Like, they said, fuck those real instruments, fuck the guitar, they used the guitar, don't get me wrong, but like, fuck these like organic sounding instruments. They were like, no, we're gonna use the synths. And I think every artist that were popular in the 70s had to adapt to the 80s sound and add more synths to their music. Queen is a good example. Like, Queen used a lot of synths in their later, 80s music, more so than their 70s. 70s was more like, Queen sound.
It's that Phil Collins shit, bro.
Please explain to me what the drum he did, because
I think it's like referred to as gated reverb.
Gated reverb, okay.
And I think I could be off base with how like the technicality is, but they have like a receiver and a like a speaker of some kind, and they're in between these metal plates, and it adds this like kind of boxy noise to it. So like all the classic drums, from like John Cougar Mellencamp or
when I hear like fucking Jack and Diane, boo, and
it's like this big like boxy kind of like claps and snares.
Mm-hmm.
What is some other like examples? Like, is Take On Me have those drums? Not really.
Yeah. Take On Me has a very that's a very 80s sounding.
But
song.
I don't know if it has the boxy drums per se.
No.
How
about like a song like
In the Air Tonight?
Like a Michael Jackson song? You don't think those have like those drums?
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Like, you can literally look up the most popular 80s songs. I'm sure every single one of those will have that type of drums. They'll love to use the synths. Reverb. Yeah, the gated reverb, and then the synths. I don't know. They just overuse the synths. It's like when I hear synths, I'm like, oh, that's an 80s track. If it's a synth in the 70s, I'm like, oh, it's a 70s song that's trying to sound like it's from the 80s, almost like it's ahead of Genesis. Genesis is an interesting band because they had a run in the 70s. Have you heard the song Illegal Alien? It's funny.
Yeah, I'd be an illegal alien. I've heard my dad singing it before.
How does that song exist?
I don't want to be.
Because I don't think that's, first off, that song, debatable. I mean, it's offensive objectively. I think I don't know whether it's supposed to be offensive. It can be up for debate. I view it as like a comedy satire song, where if you listen to that song, like of course it didn't age well. I think they were trying to be funny, but like it's literally like if you watch the music video, dude, Phil Collins is dressed in brown face, dude.
Oh my god, I just saw it.
Yeah, he's literally has brown face. It's insane. That song is crazy. I can't believe they made a song like that. And talking about not aging well, man, like that, and that's a very that came out in the 80s, I think. So that's a yeah. But going back to the because Genesis is a phenomenal example, because they obviously, with Phil Collins being the one to popularize that drumming sound with In the Air Tonight. That album, I mean, the Genesis were like the 80s sounding band. They love the synths, they love that gated reverb drums, and like I get it. I mean, at the time they were trying to make it sound like futuristic, something it was refreshing at the time, but it just, I mean, it's dated. It's dated. I mean, it gives the 80s such a distinct like feel, where like, I don't know, we're listening to this shit like 30 plus years in the future. So like, when we hear like something from the 70s, we're like, wow, was that released today? Oh no, it was released in the 70s. Wow, that shit sounds timeless, because it was like I guess organic just sounds more fresh to me. I don't know. But 80s, when they tried it just sounds gimmicky. It sounds phony. I don't know. It's overproduced. There's so much like instruments going on where I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't like any of the 80s shit. Like 80s is so overrated. I think it kind of started this trend of just.
But don't get us wrong. There was still good music released.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could name you some. I still really like U2. Like U2 gets a lot of hate. I know they get a lot of hate, but
Joshua Tree is a good album.
I think Archtongue Bay. Well, that's a 90s album. But like their first two albums were really good. Like Sunday Bloody Sunday is one of my favorite like U2 songs. Probably one of my favorite songs from the 80s. And then that other one with, I forgot what it was called, but the one with Pride, with the Martin Luther King track, that's a good album too. Like, yeah, Joshua Tree is one of the greatest. I mean, obviously I like Mike, I like Prince. Well, what are your thoughts on Prince? Do you think Prince, because Prince is like more 80s than Mike, like Purple Rain?
Yeah. And the Dance Like It's 1999. That was in the 80s, right?
That was 82, I think, or 83. Because those are like back to back. It's kind of crazy. Whitney was 80s.
Well, Talking Heads or the Smiths. Talking Heads had some stuff in the 80s.
It's funny you mentioned the Smiths.
New Order.
Because the Smiths released music in the 80s. However, I think they have a more of an audience from our generation than people who grew up in the 80s, because I don't think they were really all. I'm sure they had a couple songs like Heaven Knows I'm Miserable, How Soon Is It Now, like those are like big songs, but like,
dude, How Soon Is It Now is such a fucking badass song.
Yeah, no, honestly, you could play whether you like Morrissey's singing. I don't know if people really, I mean, I don't know, I can't say that. The Smiths,
I can tolerate it. I don't mind it.
The Smiths are so like revered nowadays, where like you can't really say anything bad about it. They're probably the best band of the 80s when it's all said and done. However, we've talked about
Van Halen's from the 80s too, dude.
Yeah, but they because we did a draft of hair metal songs, and people were saying they are not hair metal. But I don't know, when I hear a song
they're not really.
When I hear a song like Jump just sounds like so 80s. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I love that Van Halen.
You like the older, yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, because that's like the start of the arena rock. Like Journey, like does Journey really age well? Like that sounds 80s and corny as shit.
Graceland came out in 86.
Is Graceland
Paul Simon?
I'm not. Is that the one with You Can Call Me Al?
I don't know.
Or 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover?
Yeah, You Can Call Me Al. Graceland, Diamonds on the Soles of Your Shoes, of Her Shoes. Yeah,
no, honestly, I'm not too familiar with that album. Yeah, Paul Simon's 80s. Paul Simon's definitely 80s. Although I'm more known for Simon and Garfunkel than his solo stuff personally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm fine with Paul Simon. Definitely is revered as one of the great like folk singers. But yeah, he had to go through that 80s transition too. And a lot of those songs use the reverb drum and then use the fucking synths.
Yep.
There's a pattern, man. Like Billy Idol.
But that's not, Graceland didn't do that too much.
I don't know. You Can Call Me Al? Isn't like, do you think that sounds 80s?
Yeah. But they're all instruments. I don't think there's a synth. I think that's like a flute or something.
You're probably right, but I don't know. I maybe because it came out in the 80s, I just hear like an 80s sound.
Wait, does it have the dun dun dun?
Yeah. Ba, ba, ba. You can call me anything. That one.
I guess, yeah, that's a very 80s song.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, weren't there a little bit of synths in the 70s?
Yeah, I mean, disco definitely used synths. But I mean,
it didn't sound like an 80s synth though.
But yeah, but like going back to like, you know, listening to albums in the 70s, how they've aged so much better than albums from the 80s. Like 80s has this distinct sound where it's like not every song uses synths, but I don't know, they just have this 80s like sonically it just sounds 80s. I don't know, there's just a distinct sound for 80s, which I think is a positive if you want to look at it that way, where like makes it distinct, it makes it unique. But whether you think it's dated or not, I think it's dated. I don't know. Yeah. Many people might disagree.
Well, I think you can use synths. Like some people use synths back then without sounding dated. Like I think that song, or You Call Me Al, doesn't really, I don't know, doesn't have that 80s moldy oldies feel to it, even though it does have some of the tropes in it, per se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean there?
Yeah. When I hear like someone like Madonna though, is 80s. That is like a Virgin and a Holiday and like what was it, Like a Prayer, like those are 80s sounding songs. Like and I don't know, Madonna is fine. I don't really I think every female pop star can thank their success to Madonna. Like from Lady Gaga to Britney Spears to I don't know. I just think she started the flashy, you know, provocative type pop music. She was kind of the first of its kind. Cyndi Lauper, you could also throw in there. But yeah, does this music? Yeah, I don't hear any of this. Oh, Paula Abdul. I'll throw in Paula Abdul in there. Definitely try to make that 80s sound, but I don't know if any of it aged well. Really, like.
No, the stuff that aged well has that classic sound that doesn't.
The Cure?
Well, like I think that stuff aged well. Like the Smiths, I think that sound doesn't sound horrible nowadays, and I think that's why our generation gravitated towards it. It didn't sound moldy oldie. It actually sounded kind of cool. Like,
yeah, no, they were. Yeah, I agree with you.
It's cause, and like it's always like producers. Like you can always point it to like, oh, the 60s sound, that's the Wallace sound, Phil Spector. Like you're the reason why certain songs like, oh, that's a 60s song. Boop boop, 60s alarm going off. That's Phil Spector, Wallace sound.
Yeah.
Where there are songs in the 60s that released that weren't Wallace sound that do sound timeless. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Same with like, it's hard to pin one on the 70s. Per se.
I think of Motown.
Yeah, Motown, but it was like all the session bands. You could just say it's the session band era, but that's like more of the wall sound going into the 70s, too. Like Motown and
I kind of move. This might be kind of about like the 60s and 70s kind of go together.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, yeah. Like there was a lot of movements going on, and they weren't just like these flash in the pan movements. They kind of like graduated over. Like the real shift in musical like culture was the MTV era, was the new wave synth, you know.
Yeah, and I blame Phil Collins for that a little bit.
Oh yeah, Phil Collins is one of them.
Well, like conversely, there's Quincy Jones rocking it with Michael throughout that.
Like you think like a song like Thriller really aged well?
No.
You think it's such
some of the other ones didn't age as bad.
Like Billie Jean still sounds great.
Yeah.
But I think that sounds a little 80s too. Like, and I don't want to use 80s as like a derogatory term. It just sounds like it's of its era, you know? It doesn't sound like like Beat It. Like Beat It sounds 80s as shit.
Yeah, Beat It sound didn't age as well as Billie Jean. I think Billie Jean aged pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Bad? Bad. It sounds so 80s, dude.
I think Billie Jean aged great.
Yeah. I think out of all the songs in Thriller, that's the one that probably aged the best. I like PYT. That's probably my favorite song of that album.
PYT aged the best.
Yeah, because that's just an R&B track. And R&B is going to sound great. Like, I don't know.
Oh.
Because you could throw that.
But like, I hate that it has a negative connotation now, that song.
Why? Because it's about like
because of his allegations. I know they weren't near each other at all, but like I've definitely overheard people like when PYT is on like make comments or whatever.
I never put two and two together, but more I think about it, that's so funny. Because that's probably my favorite song in the album.
Oh yeah, it's probably one of my favorite.
It's one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs.
Because it sounds like it should have been on Off the Wall.
I agree. I think I was actually about to say that. You could throw that song in Off the Wall. It fit perfectly. And this is why I think the 80s is... this is another reason why I say 80s is overrated. Sure, Thriller is the most popular album of all time. Sure, Bad has like the most #1 singles in the history of Billboard, tied with, I think, Katy Perry. And I'm not using that I'm just saying that. But I think Off the Wall aged so good. And sure, it was kind of like the people didn't like disco at the time because of the saturation. It was just kind of like, the disco Demolition Night and shit.
Which is kind of, I think, has some racist roots in it. Oh,
very much so. Just like everything else, like the pushback on hip hop. Tell me that doesn't have any racist roots behind. No, that's absolutely true. But the fact that sure, it was kind of like trying to be disco. And it is a disco album, is it not? Like, it's basically a disco album. But
R&B.
I think there was this reevaluation, and I could think a lot of it to Get Lucky. I think I honestly I'm gonna pinpoint that specific song, which ironically had Nile Rodgers, and Nile Rodgers was also a very large figure in why the 80s became the sound it became, because Nile Rodgers produced so many tracks. Some of the biggest songs. He was like the biggest producer at the time. So I respect Nile Rodgers. But no, going back to Off the Wall, that album just aged so much better, and it's such a smoother listen than Bad and I Just Can't Stop Loving You. That's another song that doesn't age well. Like, that song is just some corny ass like soft rock. It sounds like Lionel Richie shit. Like, that song is not that good. I don't know. Like, I get why Thriller and Bad became like such cultural phenomenons, but Off the Wall, in my opinion, ends up on top, and that ends up being the better album. So that's one of the reasons.
Well, like, I feel like Random Access Memories also like ushered in like that kind of disco sound coming back into the mainstream.
Yes, and I love it for
today's sound.
And I think it gave a reevaluation on disco, because people didn't respect disco except for the house crowd, because the house crowd is built off disco.
And what a funny like connection of producers we went on the other day, of like Nile Rodgers worked. So Daft Punk worked with Nile Rodgers and Pharrell, and like Nile Rodgers worked with like Roxy Music,
Madonna,
and Brian Eno is a member of Roxy Music, and he fucking did all of U2. Like, some of like,
I think
like there's this
these connections are. I don't think it's just artists that want to work. I think Daft Punk was very intentional with the artists they picked, and the whole point of Random Access Memories is like paying homage to the music they grew up with. And the fact that Nile Rodgers was like one of the ones that spearheaded disco. Disco ended up being one of the main foundations for house music.
Yes, for
them
sure.
being the one that I think brought house to like an international audience. Would you disagree with me? Is there anyone else that you could throw in?
Brought house to an international audience?
Yeah,
Daft Punk.
Who else would you say?
to an international audience. There were people before, but like maybe not like. That's tough to say they're the first. No, they're not. There's like plenty of people in the 90s, like big house songs that reached, like I'd say Call on Me by Eric Prydz maybe touched international appeal before Daft Punk did.
Maybe. I don't know. I think you're probably right. I don't know. I'm coming at a place of ignorance, so I can't say. I'm just viewing it from a pop perspective, and from a pop perspective, I view Daft Punk's like Homework being like the one where like a lot of people in like that generation was introduced to house music through, or French house at least, through that Daft Punk era. Maybe like some of the side projects that they were doing. I don't know. I don't know who else would be there. Like, who was another prominent figure? Am I missing anyone that is worth mentioning? Like,
well, like, all right. I just had to look up. Like, the first like track to become a hit in house was "On and On" by Jesse Saunders.
Do you know that song?
I believe so.
I don't know. I'm telling. If we're talking house, I'm a little tapped out. I don't know.
Here, sorry, 1 second. One moment, fans. If we have any. No. Oh, this shit sucks. At least so far.
All right. We won't say they're the first house guys to bring it out. They're the first good house guys.
Yeah. One of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue.
So I wanted to say like that's the album. So that song in particular is so intentional. The fact that it was the lead single, both Pharrell and Daft Punk were going through a bit of a commercial slump. They kind of were fading in relevance. They were kind of viewed as has-beens at the time. The fact that both of them had that comeback with that album, and then bringing in a guy like Nile Rodgers who hasn't had a hit in years, and have him being a core member and playing the guitars for that song, and yeah, having that being like kind of the resurgence of the disco sound in the mainstream, how like Jungle or like Dua Lipa or I don't know, a lot of these like artists that were able to kind of ride that future funk, I think that's what they call it, or like the disco wave that song created. I don't know, that song is so, there's so much substance to that song. For something as simple as like We're Up All Night to Get Lucky, like, you know, just it's a very simple song, but like there's so much substance behind it, you know, in context of music history and stuff. But yeah, that I was getting distracted because I was talking about how disco has a resurgence, and disco actually does sound good. So yeah, and going back to Michael Jackson being the best, like Off the Wall being the best album, how that kind of like proves my point why I think the 80s is a little overrated. Also, new wave, I don't think they aged very well. Really. There's a lot of one-hit wonders that come from the new wave era. I can't name. I mean, Take On Me is probably a popular one. If you know the song Safety Dance. Yeah. Turning Japanese. Turning Japanese. I don't know if you know that one, but that's a funny one. Rock Me Amadeus. Do you know that one? Rock Me Amadeus. There's so many of these like one-hit wonder new wave songs.
What was the second one-hit wonder you said?
We Can Dance If We Want to.
Oh, is that an Australian band?
I think they're Canadian. They're called Men Without Hats. Yeah. See, you know.
Yeah, but I think they're Australian. Or am I thinking? I know Men at Work are Australian.
Absolutely.
For sure.
They literally have a song called "We're Laying Down Under." That's the most Australian fucking. That's like the Australian anthem, if I'm not mistaken.
It is the national anthem of Australia. You're
yeah.
right.
Like we have like Star Spangled Banner. They have that. Born in the USA. Do you think that aged well? Like those?
Sure.
I mean.
It has that boxy drums.
Yeah, like do you think the Springsteen is
super well?
Because I think I personally view Springsteen as an 80s artist, although he had a lot of success in the 70s.
Yeah.
Maybe his music sounded better in the 70s. I can't say for sure. recognize it more for the 80s. I would have to go back. That's another artist we need to do. I would love to look at that like Born to Run album, because that album was actually really good.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Man Without Hats is Canadian.
Okay.
But like Come On Eileen, that's a big one-hit wonder. 99 Balloons, that's a one-hit. That's a very 80s song. like literally the synths and the drums. Like how that doesn't get more 80s.
Yeah, they didn't figure out how to use keyboards and synths yet.
And then one thing I do like about the 80s is that it gave birth to two genres that are still popular to today: house music and hip hop.
Yep.
Hip
which
hop,
both came from the turntable.
Exactly, which was coming from sampling what? Disco songs
and R&B.
And R&B. But no, R&B started. I mean, like Rapper's Delight. That's a disco song.
Yeah, but there's other like. Was it always disco for hip hop songs?
I wouldn't say it's always disco, but I just kind of seeing like how Rapper's Delight was kind of like the turning point in like bringing hip hop to a mainstream audience, and how. Listen to this. Good Times came out in like June of 1979 as a single, and then 3 months later, Sugar Hill Gang sampled that song and released Rapper's Delight, and that was released in September of the same year.
That's incredible.
Incredible. And technically it came out in 1979, so it's technically a 70s album, a 70s song, but where people weren't listening to it until like 1980 moving forward. So sure, you can call it a 70s song, but no, it's an 80s song. Like it belongs in the 80s. And you know you got like Curtis Blow, Run DMC, LL Cool J. I'm sure I'm missing some others. Salt and Peppa, Public Enemy ended up being a big, prominent group in the 80s. And then you had this huge commercial boom, and that's kind of the start of the golden age. Hip hop was still finding its footing. I wouldn't say the sound really aged that well in the 80s. Although I do kind of like it, it is charming to hear, that type of rhyme style. Clearly, it has evolved. Thankfully, to guys like Nas and, well, I'll give credit to Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. These guys kind of brought lyricism into like the more modern, make it a little more smooth, a little more chill, like more intricate. That's where guys like Jay-Z, Nas, Biggie, like a lot of these like more modern rappers kind of like. Yeah, Tupac. And then that kind of brought in, and then hip hop went through its own crazy roller coaster in its own right. But I will give credit to those pioneers that brought the foundation of hip hop, which growing up, it was my go-to genre. So yeah, I got to give 80s its credit for that. But other than that, like, yeah, it still proves my point that 80s music just doesn't age well, because 80s hip hop doesn't age well. Like, come on, like, it's tricky. What the fuck are we listening to, man? I like No Sleep in Brooklyn, but like, still, it sounds so dated. Like, come on, like Straight Outta Compton, Fuck the Police. These songs sound like super 80s songs. Like, come on. People nowadays aren't trying to replicate that sound. They still try to replicate the 90s. Like, G-Funk's still trying to be replicated. Fucking Trap Called Quest is still trying to be replicated. Sure, I'm missing others, but those are like the two. Wu-Tang. People try to. Griselda is trying to sound like Wu-Tang. Come on, like 90s are still being but 80s, no one's trying to sound like the 80s, unless they're trying to make a pastiche or make something like paying homage to the 80s. But
like in that People Under the Stairs song.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, dude. That song, I love that song actually.
Get loose, dude.
I just love that, because you could tell they were just trying to like make something fun and like bouncy, and you could tell they were just paying respects to the music they grew up with. So I don't know, that song's, and we'll talk about that album another time. Before we transition, let's do a draft of the 80s artists. But the catch is the artists have to like be the most 80s, like the most 80s artists draft. I don't know how else to explain it, but since you went first last time,
sounding artists.
Yeah, most 80s sounding artists. Since you went first last time, I'm gonna go first this time. My first overall pick is Journey.
Fair.
Journey, holy shit, they're 80s, man.
I'm going to go Madonna.
That's a good one. We can go Michael, but I don't want to go Michael because, of course, you draw. Give me John Cougar Mellencamp.
Nice. Give me Tears for Fears.
Oh, that's a good one. I like Tears for Fears though. I think Everybody Wants to Rule the World is like one of the best songs of the decade. Pop songs at least. Oh wow, you took that. Give me Bon Jovi.
Give me Wham.
Yeah, you're kind of killing me there. Wham. Oh shit. That's so 80s. Holy shit. George Michael.
Yeah.
I'll take Cyndi Lauper.
Give me Phil Collins.
Why don't you just take Genesis?
Because I want Phil Collins.
Okay.
In the Air Tonight came out in the 80s, right?
You're right. Yeah, that's true. I'll take Billy Idol.
Good one. Or we didn't pick Michael Jackson, did we?
No.
Well, give me Michael.
Okay. Well, the reason why I didn't pick Michael is because I literally just said I like Off the Wall more than Thriller and Bad. I honestly, I think his Motown era is kind of underrated nowadays, because I think they all just got overshadowed by Thriller. So that's gonna transition.
I could have gone Aerosmith.
Aerosmith I like their 70s shit. I don't know, and I Don't Want to Miss a Thing that came out in '98. Like that's a '90s song. Here's some Duran Duran would have been a good pick.
Soft Cell.
Well, they're one-hit wonders. Motley Crue. Boy George and Culture Club. Oh, that's 80s as fuck. You know who came out in the 80s that is really timeless? Is Tracy Chapman. Very timeless music. And you know why it's timeless? Because it's just regular instruments. She didn't try to use synths. She didn't try to use that draw drums. She just made traditional folk music. Fast Car is a very, very timeless song. You could play that song now and still, I don't know, like.
Do you think that's why 25 and 21 by Adele are going to be like
so timeless,
go on
man.
Forever?
So timeless because they're just classic, like Blue Eyed Soul. I don't know. What would you describe their music? Like piano ballads, like. Yeah, no, absolutely. Why do you think Amy Winehouse stood the test of time? Her music, she just did throwback retro music, and it aged so gracefully. I don't know. There's just a specific sound that just aged well for me.
Well, that's because of that producer, too.
Mark Ronson.
Mm-hmm.
Genius. He's such a genius. Underrated.
Well, no, is that the producer that did Amy Winehouse?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I think we should take a break. Yeah. And we will transition into, we'll get into what we're going to talk about, but we're going to take a break now. So we'll see you guys back in a sec.
I feel bad for the other, who's the AFC or the NFC North playing this year?
What do you mean?
Every division plays another division.
What do you mean they play another division?
Like schedule-wise.
No, they play each other.
I know, but they also play another division from the AFC. Like the NFC North will play the AFC South this year. So every team, the Vikings will play every team in the AFC South. And the Packers will play every team in the AFC South. The Bears will play every team in the AFC South.
Has it been like that?
Yeah, that's how it's part of the schedule.
Wow, I did not know that.
Let me just look at the Packers schedule and I can tell you.
That looks crooked as fuck.
Yeah, that is. Let's look at the Packers schedule. It's looking like North versus North.
Yeah, it's like
it's AFC North versus NFC North.
It's like if the Civil War had its own Civil War.
Yeah, because the Packers play the Browns, the Bengals, the Ravens. Do they play this? They have to play the Steelers, right? Yeah, and the Steelers. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then they play one team from the AFC that is not, and that's the Broncos.
Interesting.
And then they also play a team they play a team in the other conference they haven't played in a while, and I guess that's the Broncos.
Interesting. Okay. Well, anyway, we are back. Another part I want to do in this segment. I want to review another album. We're gonna stray away from the 70s, and we're gonna go as recent as 2014, and it's with this album called Piñata by Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. This is an album that is very important to me in many ways. Just a little bit of background. I've never heard of Madlib. I've never heard of Freddie Gibbs before this album. This album introduced me to both.
Me too.
The way I was introduced to this album was that this is like kind of like the start. Would I say it's the start? I'd say it's around like the beginning of my obsession. No, obsession's a bad term, but like where a lot of my music taste came from this dude named Anthony Fantano. And this is like one of the first albums. And not only Anthony Fantano, there's this music YouTube channel called Dead End Hip Hop, and they kind of like helped me mold of how to listen to hip hop music. There were a bunch of like older African American men who kind of like grew up in the era of hip hop, so they can give the perspective of like music that came out in the 80s, 90s, and also give like the modern perspective. They're obviously going to be old heads. Like they are very much old heads. But the reason why I was so intrigued by this album is because Fantano gave it a very high review, and then everyone in Dead and Hip Hop gave it a very, positive review. So like that intrigued me to listen to the album. But goddamn, there's a reason why they gave it such high praise. Like it's just, I don't know, like Freddie Gibbs is so fucking dope as a lyricist because he's not super lyrical, but goddamn, he's bouncy, he's got flow. And Madlib's beats, like, sure, they're old school, but like it's still a little like off, if you know what I mean. Like it's almost experimental. It's not traditional sampling. It's like sampling with a modern twist, and it still gives an old school vibe, but it also gives like a bit of a I'm thinking of a song like Shitsville. Like Shitsville is like like or like I don't know. His production style is just so fascinating. And the reason why I want to talk about this album is because Freddie Gibbs just released another album this year with Alchemist called Alfredo 2. He was a sequel for another album he had with Alchemist. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be completely honest. I think those albums are fine. I think, Freddie Gibbs has been doing this for so long. It sounded like he was a bit on autopilot. It sounded like Alchemist was kind of on autopilot. Like, I won't say it's uninspired, but like they just been doing it for so long that like they aren't giving me anything like unique. Like I go back to this album. This album is just so unique. It's like old school but new school at the same time, and it sounds refreshing. It sounds like it could come out at any era, and I don't know. Like I think it's kind of like a once in a generation album where like it's really hard to replicate what they did. Although I do like Bandana.
Well, Madlib. I'd say Piñata is a replication of what he already did with Mad Villainy.
You really think so? You really think Mad Villainy sounds a lot like
no, I'm just saying
Piñata?
being able to
curate a sound for one rapper for an entire album, basically
for a whole generation.
Yeah, it's like, and that was another thing. I'm gonna give my hot take. I like Piñata more than Mad Villainy. I like Mad Villainy a lot. I think obviously MF Doom is a much better lyricist than Freddie Gibbs. I just like listening to Freddie Gibbs more. He's got the
easier listening. Very
easy. Like MF Doom is so precise with his lyricism that like sometimes it can kind of like sometimes it can. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm not like.
Wait, have you seen the memes of like white guys listening to Freddie Gibbs? And it's just like having a ball, like that. Like Freddie Gibbs is like the rapper for white guys as well.
Yeah, it's interesting because Freddie Gibbs before this album, have you seen that? I haven't seen them, but Freddie Gibbs was like he was already an established rapper. He had a couple of I wouldn't say hits, but like he was on Double XL Freshman a couple years prior, and he was already releasing a lot of music. But the music he was releasing was more trappier. It was more trendier. He really just tried to fit in with the culture. That's why it's so interesting that he picked someone as eccentric as Madvillain to partner up with, and they were able to make this beautiful album. I actually just recently listened to Madvillainy today, and as great as Madvillainy is, and I don't want to take anything out of it, it's not the album you could just throw on and just play. You kind of and plus you could single out some songs that you can like, but I feel like it's better it kind of flows like as one. Whereas I think Piñata, of course, you could flow as one, but you could pick out tracks and like kind of listen to it singular. Like you could pick out your favorite tracks and listen to those songs repeatedly. It's a little harder to do that with Madvillain. Plus, MF Doom, as great as of a lyricist he is, I think he's so good of a lyricist where it takes away the catchiness from it. I personally like MF Doom's first album over Madvillainy, but that might be an unpopular opinion. But I don't know. Piñata is just so dope. I don't know. No skips. Every song is just gangster shit with some soul beats, but like not traditional soul beats. They're like really off kilter. I hear like maybe like a little bit of Jay Dilla. Do you hear Jay Dilla in Madlib?
Yeah, Madlib. Yeah, he's like his descendant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, what do you have to say about?
Yeah, I love how easy listening the album is. Like definitely like it's definitely has that like gangster sound. I mean, it's all he's rapping about.
He's kind of like Pusha T, where it's like it's about coke.
Can be one note a little. But like I know, I like that it's authentic. Hey, when people don't.
And one note's a little disrespectful because I think you can rap about whatever you want, but if you do it in an interesting way, then and he clearly does it in a very interesting way. His rapping style is like he raps his ass off. And I'm not, of course, no one can touch MF Doom on a mic. That's why it's hard to compare because MF Doom is probably the greatest lyricist to ever live. I mean, he's up there. He's probably like top 3, top 5.
Genius. Yeah,
he's a lyrical genius. But Freddie Gibbs is just sometimes more fun to listen to. Sometimes just you could just put on and anyone can enjoy it. Like any hip hop fan can enjoy Freddie Gibbs and Madlib. It's just such a dope album. I wanted to, the comparison to him, like that album. Did you listen to Bandana, right?
Yeah, a few songs on it. I couldn't.
Yeah, Bandana. I think he was.
That was 2019, right?
Good memory. Yeah. Were you already in like the house, deep in the house? No pun intended. Yeah. Deep in the house at that time. I was still in the Freddie Gibbs.
I think I bought the album.
Did you really?
I think so.
Because Bandana, in many ways, you can make an argument is better, but because it's hard to say because there's a lot of very experimental beats, like, and then Freddie Gibbs like got the fact that he's able to rap over because it's almost like Madlib was trying to challenge Freddie in a way, like I'm gonna make you some of the most out there outlandish beats, not like super experimental like fucking. Like a Death Grips or anything, but like he still is like a crate digging soul. By the way, he made that album on an iPad.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. But like a song like Half Man, Half Cocaine. No, Massage Seats. It has this crazy weird sample, but fucking Freddie Gibbs just knows how to rap over it so well. But I think when it comes to easy listening, I got to give it a Piñata. And like. It's hard to call it an underground album, which I think by definition it's an underground album, but it's got features from who? Scarface, Raekwon, like a little bit of Odd Future. I think you got like Domo Genesis, and you got some guy from the Michi Darko from Flatbush Zombies, Mac Miller. I'm sure I'm missing some others. Danny Brown is on the album. So like, my question is, of course you need to have the collaborations to be like, to get people to listen to your album, right? But do you think like there's levels to underground? Sure, you could have an album like Chance the Rapper's Acid Rap, like that's an independently released album, but it has like so many like famous features on it, like a lot of big artists, and it's hard to call it underground when it has like a lot of like you're pulling fans from here. We were just listening to People Under the Stairs, and People Under the Stairs has no features, no affiliation with like any big names, big labels, nothing. They were just built off. There were two dudes just wanted to make music, make beats, and make music.
Get loose, dude.
Get loose. So like, yeah, my question, like, do you think it's more impressive that when you can do that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, not like not having features, like no features, no outside help, no getting like some big name like producers or big.
But I don't know if that they blew up like Chance did though.
No, they did not. I think People Under the Stairs is a very kind of similar to MF Doom, or a lot of these underground artists is they're very culty. Like there's a cult fan base behind it. But like the cult fan base is like a dedicated, like they revere like revere them. I don't know. I find it interesting that like a lot of these underground rappers tend to have like relatively big names in the industry in their music. They're just not like Freddie Gibbs. You're not going to hear this music in the radio. You're not going to hear it in the charts. That's why they call it underground. But having help from like Odd Future and having help from Mac Miller and I don't know, just someone like Raekwon, like from Wu-Tang, like it's going to help your cred a little bit, and it's going to help you fit into the hip hop scene a lot better than just being a complete outsider like People Under the Stairs.
How did he just come in?
Who?
Freddie Gibbs just couldn't know all these guys. Is it what I think it is?
What?
Selling coke to all of them?
You know what? That was my my theory with Pusha T is like, I think Pusha T was just the plug for a lot of these like artists. Like, oh, who can we get coke from? Oh, Pusha T's got all the connections. Let's go hit him up. Oh, what is he? He doesn't want to sell. He's not. He's like, oh, I'll give you this coke. I'll give you this pound of coke. I got to feature. You got to feature me on your album. Like imagine like him and Kanye. Kanye just wants a pound of coke, or like just wants some coke for him and his friends, and it's like, oh yeah, I could get you on my album. I could sign you to my record label. You just got to give me some coke instead of money.
That's so funny.
Yeah. We're gonna get demonetized, even though we're not getting paid for this. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's got to be something like that. Like I think that's how Biggie Smalls got into Bad Boy. Sure, he was talented, but he also was a dope dealer. Jay-Z, yeah, Jay-Z probably. So he was like, that's how he was able to build up his connections, was through selling dope. Like selling dope could get you far in life. Learn that lesson, kids.
Yeah, just don't get caught.
Just don't get. You know what?
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
You know, it's hilarious.
If you're getting caught, you're not trying.
It is so funny. It's so funny when we were like talking about like me and my brothers. For some reason, we were talking about like what kind of like message would you give to people, and I was like half joke, but like kind of like serious, like don't get caught. Just don't get caught. You could do whatever you want, just don't get caught. If you murdered someone, just don't get caught. Okay, I'm just joking. Now I'm definitely gonna get canceled.
Yeah, don't kill people.
Don't kill people. That's bad.
Okay.
Unless that person, unless that person is on the other side of the war, and you have to kill him because you were enlisted in the military, and that person is a threat to your country and a threat to your people, and you got to kill him in honor of your country, then it's okay to kill him.
I'd be a conscientious objector.
I don't know. Then you wouldn't do well in the military. Then
I'd be Muhammad Ali.
You would run away to fucking Canada or Mexico.
I'm pacifist. I'll heal the boy, but I would not.
I find it ironic. I find it ironic that they call Muhammad Ali a pacifist when he beats the shit out of people for a living.
Doesn't kill people.
You got a point there. Yeah. Sugar Ray Robinson killed a man by punching him too much in the ring.
Yeah, well, that's the ref's fault.
Yeah, refs didn't throw in the towel when they should have, or didn't
the
stop
corner, the ref, all of the above.
Also, Apollo Creed died in the ring too. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Went out on a shield. Dude, I'm hitting my wall here. I'm fucking...
Yeah.
I was up early this morning.
No worries. No, let's end it off with the draft. Let's draft the album and then we'll call it. You cool with that?
Oh, dude. I'm zonked. But yeah, let's do it. Let's draft it. Let's draft Piñata.
We're going to draft from Piñata. You go first. I went first last time.
All right. Well, we got to go. Sorry, I'm pulling up the track list.
Yep.
Or no. I'm going to go Knicks because I love that song so much.
I'll take Thuggin'.
Nice. That's a good one. I'm going to go Robes.
I'll take Deeper.
Nice. Let's go. Shame.
Damn, that was going to be my next pick, actually. I'll take Shitsville.
Good one. Let's go Scarface.
I'll take Broken featuring Scarface.
I set you up. And I'll end it with Bomb featuring Raekwon.
I'm torn between High and Harold's, and I'll take High.
Oh, how did I forget about Piñata?
Yeah, that's not one of my favorites. It's a great song, though. You want to switch?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So
what about the title track?
Yep. So that's the draft. That's our podcast. Any closing remarks?
Love you all.
Packers are still going to be a 10-7 first round exit, and that's how we're going to say it. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you next time.